Hey, it's Gigguk, and you're watching Pixel Party Pals. Woo!
Hey guys, how we doing? So another video from Gigguk called the Moe Anime Revolution. I love Gigguk's videos. I love the anime style, the editing style that he uses, comedic bits he throws in, and just the way he talks about stuff is funny. I think it's great, and he always has some sort of point to put across as well. So let's just get into this. It's like a 20-minute video. The Moe Anime Revolution.
When we think of anime today, it's hard to ignore one aspect that has seemingly taken over the medium as we know it in the modern day. Moe.
You can't get away from it.
Moe anime,
Everything's got a bit of something
girls,
in there.
Moe shows, whether it be a style, a genre, or just a feeling, it's hard to explain exactly what Moe is to an uninformed outsider. Yet anyone familiar with anime will grow to have an unspoken understanding of it, because it is everywhere.
Yeah.
Nowadays, Moe absolutely dominates anime, but it wasn't always like this. In fact, it's something that many of you may have witnessed the rise of yourself within the very lifespan of your anime fandom. How did such a vague, broad concept rise to prominence to become synonymous with the modern anime culture? How long has Moe been around for anyway, and how has it evolved over the years?
How has it
Today
evolved?
I wanted to tell the story of Moe, how its journey led to it taking over the medium as we see it today, and maybe unravel the secret formula behind what seems to be just cute anime girls. This is the Moe Revolution.
Alright.
To understand where Moe came from, we first need to understand what Moe actually is, and that's easier said than done. Aside from it having something to do with making your Kokoro go Doki Doki Literature Club, it's been very commonly debated as to how Moe is truly defined. Now, I don't think we're just going to be able to grab an Oxford English dictionary off the shelf and find a hard definition of what Moe is, so maybe we can use the next best thing. Urban Dictionary.
Alright.
Moe is when your heart gets a boner. Oh, that's actually pretty accurate. Wait, so if you're female, does that mean Moe characters make your heart go moist? Jokes aside, the idea that Moe is when your heart gets a boner is pretty much the one-sentence definition I normally settle on when describing it to strangers. But I think at its core it's a feeling of affection or attraction towards a specific character or character traits that comes from a place of innocence. Some may describe it as a burning desire to protect a character. Some may describe it as character features that evoke a deep endearment. Some may describe it as just cute. It's very subjective for the most part, as if you're really inclined, anything can be Moe. Even Guts or Donald Trump could be Moe. Even Mo could be Moe. Moe Sislak. The exact definition is not so much as important as seeing how anime characters have evolved over the years to more effectively capture this emotion and attachment to a mass audience. And with that in mind, how far do the roots of Moe trace back to?
The Moe origins.
For such a vague concept, it's hard to point to a specific origin point, as it could be argued that the idea of constructing characters with the goal of eliciting an intimate response of affection is as old as the medium itself. However, I think a good place to start is looking for early character traits and tropes which would eventually evolve into what we know as modern waifu culture, as it is the audience attachment to these traits that would be refined and grow into the Moe we know today. Many have cited Lam from the 1978 manga Urusei Yatsura as being the progenitor of Moe as we know it, and possibly the very first waifu. A very cute and innocent character at first glance, but one with a fiery temper who refers to the main protagonist as Darling. She's often credited as being the first tsundere, so it comes as no surprise that she's such an important and iconic character in the medium, but of course, at the time, this was just a new character trait audiences responded well to, and she certainly wasn't created for the purpose of being a waifu. This would also be seen in characters like Lin Min-mei from the original SDF Macross, adhering to many traits we see in popular female characters nowadays, as well as being one of the earliest idol characters that just happened to be in a mecha show, and at the time with far more focus on the mecha side of things. In terms of the whole design and aesthetics, we can see a lot of influence from Bishoujo designs which have had its own evolution throughout the history of anime. But of course, for the show that would really popularise the aspects we would come to know in modern Moe, it would be hard to argue against Bishoujo Senshi Sailor Moon. Considering how much of an international success this show was, think about how much it has in common with modern Moe shows today. A full cast of varied female characters in an entirely feminine art style that actually had a large male audience. The shoujo shows of the 80s and 90s with a significant male audience was a major turning point in the development of the Moe concept. These characters weren't there as fan service eye candy or love interest for the male protagonists, they were the main focus of the show, and that is how dedicated moe shows operate now. Hell, for Sailor Moon specifically, some have even theorized the origin of the word moe itself came from Sailor Saturn, Hotaru Tomoe. There are many other characters like these that either display modern moe traits or simply captured male audiences over the years, but the last hugely important thing I want to mention whose influence is extended beyond just moe is, of course, Neon Genesis Evangelion. Yes, once again, I am mentioning Evangelion for the... Fuck, I don't know, just assume next time I'm talking about the evolution of an aspect within anime, Evangelion is going to have some part in it, and in this case, let's just say Asuka and Rei are a big deal as far as moe is concerned. They really changed the game as far as how audiences reacted to female characters. Audiences were deeply attached, and loyal as well. This was arguably the first proper waifu war. Just think about how many characters we've seen over the years that have been influenced by them. It was at this point in the 90s that the character archetypes we know today were firmly solidified. And, more importantly, what Evangelion proved was the franchising power of it. Everything was franchised in Eva, including its waifus, still to this day. And it is this financial success that is important to note. Because in all these shows, whilst many of them had great stories, it was the audience connection to the characters that made them as big as they were. The simple idea of an intimate personal attachment towards a character would play a massive role in the evolution of the concept because this meant fan-base investment. The more a fan cares about a show, or even a single specific aspect or character of that show, the more likely they are to invest into the franchise as a whole. It's turned the characters themselves into a marketable brand, and companies would slowly realise how profitable this was. In all genres, branding plays a huge role in the success of a given show. By capitalising on the emotional response, these shows were able to thrive, be it through merchandising, home video sales, or whatever else. As time progressed to the early 2000s, we would continue seeing traits of moe across the board in shows like Azumanga Daioh, but it was a small part of a larger whole. Moe certainly was present throughout anime, but it wasn't as recognised or as prevalent in the culture. It was simply one aspect you'd find in anime. It was just there. The odd character having cute and quirky aspects. We had our established character archetypes, but no one yet had come along to fully take advantage of the franchising potential moe could give to a property. This was all about to change, however, with one studio that would explode onto the scene, downright perfecting the modern formula, leading to a change felt across the medium that we still see today.
And that
the revolution was about to begin.
The rise of Kyoto Animation.
Whilst the true origins of moe are widely debatable, I'm sure we can all agree that it was the shows created by Kyoto Animation in the mid to late 2000s that cemented the concept in the mainstream anime consensus. But for the full-on moe powerhouse Kyoto Animation is known for today, few may remember that it wasn't always this way. What started as a small animation studio based in Kyoto, can someone fact check that for me, please? They would get their first big break in making a spin-off to a mecha series, Full Metal Panic for Mofu, and then its eventual sequel in the second raid. And in 2005 would also release Air. It's this period where we started to see the rise of shows with the more recognisable modern moe style that we have now. This would lay the groundwork for their next show, which would truly solidify the oncoming revolution. Change was coming, and it was in the form of a bossy brunette high school girl who was a god. Literally. The melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya blasted onto screens in 2006, and Haruhi stamped down her presence, which was felt across the whole community. Anyone around just over 10 years ago will remember how much of a cultural phenomenon this was for our community, because the whole quirkiness of the show was something that we hadn't really seen before. Before, anime was known for its futuristic cyberpunk, giant robots, shonen fights, and then seemingly overnight, everyone was doing a synchronized dance to a hyperactive J-pop song, starting religions around a high school girl, and scouting people for the SOS Brigade. It wasn't just about Haruhi.
You see it at Comic-Con as well, people doing all the dance routines.
Haruhi wasn't just another anime girl. Haruhi was a god, and she was your god. One whom you must obey. You had high school girl Haruhi, bunny girl Haruhi with a guitar, a catchy dance only dedicated fans would be able to pull off, and Aya Hirano, who was catapulted into superstar status. Everything about this show was franchised, marketed, and sold. The show created its own culture, and people bought into it. People bought into it in spades. The success of the show skyrocketed moe into the forefront of the anime consensus. I mean, I know this was my first show where I learned what moe was.
In this situation, moe is an important concept to keep in mind.
Oh, wow.
Sorry,
What you say? Moe was in.
That's brilliant.
Moe was profitable, and Haruhi became a symbol of the fan-base investment into this quirky anime girl culture. And I think this was due to it partially being self-aware and partially celebrating everything it was being self-aware about. But Kyoto Animation didn't stop there. They continued their history of adapting key shows with the Canon remake in late 2006 and of course Clannad, both of which have a great deal of Moe elements in their own rights. But it would be the release of Lucky Star that fully encapsulates everything we now expect of Moe shows. Lucky Star saw levels of popularity equal or even exceeding that of Haruhi. A show about a group of schoolgirls really just being cute and hanging out. Something which a young 18-year-old Gigguk at the time did not get in his second ever video on YouTube. I still kind of don't really get it. What this show did was take one of the elements fans liked about Haruhi, the cute girls, relatable main character, the high school setting, and amped up the Moe aspect. It proved that you didn't need a sci-fi twist to engage an audience. Audiences could find a connection even if there wasn't a big overarching plot, and with it, the momentum Kyoto Animation gained from releasing these shows back to back was enormous. They had set the stage. Moe was growing rapidly, and they were right at the forefront of it. Everything they touched seemed to turn into gold. What they didn't know was what they touched next would turn into pure diamond.
Oh, okay. I have seen this everywhere. What is this?
When we think of influential shows in the history of anime, we think of international mega hits like Akira, Evangelion, and Dragon Ball Z. Anime that had an industry-wide effect and influenced their genres for years to come. So, 7 years after some no-name on the internet reviewed K-On! And publicly exclaimed that it was a nothing show about cute girls drinking motherfucking tea, I can now begrudgingly admit that K-On! Is one of the most important and influential shows to come out from modern anime.
Right. Oh god.
Yeah, those were really words that just came out of my mouth. Motherfucking tea! K-On! Was the final evolution Kyoto Animation has set on the path they started. While Haruhi could still be seen as a high school comedy with a sci-fi twist, and Lucky Star could be seen as a slice-of-life high school comedy in the same vein as Azumanga Daioh, just with a very, very strong Moe element, K-On! Wasn't really any of those. It was just Moe. And it was the first time people started calling an entire show as such. This was something the community hadn't seen before. The main selling point wasn't its grand plot points, it wasn't its gut-busting comedy, romance, or action. It was just the fluffy feeling of being able to hang with cute, cuddly anime girls. Sure, it had its music, but that was never the main focus, much to the dismay of many who didn't understand the show. But the focus was on the chemistry shared between its characters. Characters that individually may not seem like anything special, but for vast audiences, the whole turned out to be much greater than the sum of its parts. I'm probably not the best person to be able to tell you about what the appeal of K-On! Was, but what I certainly can tell you about is its success. Audiences felt a deep connection to these girls, and it was primarily a male demographic too. From their designs, personalities, to the various scenarios they'd find themselves in, to the chemistry that they all shared. K-On! Had perfected the Moe formula so much, it found its success by just reveling in its own Moe-ness. This would go on to become one of the highest selling Blu-ray releases for its time. K-On! Made Moe the biggest thing in anime after its release. It wasn't mecha, it wasn't action or romance, it was cute girls doing cute things, and it changed the way we look at anime today. K-On! Wasn't just popular, K-On! Didn't just cement Moe or start some kind of trend. K-On! Damn near created its own genre. The evolution became a revolution.
The Moe genre.
What came next was a plethora of shows I can only describe as belonging in the Moe genre. Now, a lot of people, myself included, have referred to Moe as a genre before, so let's just set the record straight and say definitively, Moe isn't a genre. Technically. In the same way that shonen isn't technically a genre, but people often refer to it as one because of the trends and commonalities we find within the shows. In this case, Moe describes the general theme and tone of the show and its characters. For the most part, a show someone would drop in this Moe genre would likely just be a slice-of-life drama or comedy. But with how broad that definition is, it doesn't really tell you what you need to know. Planetes and Great Teacher Onizuka can also be described in that way, but they sure as hell aren't Moe shows. K-On! And Lucky Star may not have been the first examples of cute girls doing cute things, but they sure sure as hell cemented the concept into the mainstream, and more importantly, directed Moe down a more defined path, because it was sure as hell these show successes that others tried to emulate. It was this new subset of slice of life series that would essentially purpose towards appealing to this cute Moe feeling. As we discussed before, Moe is a very broad term that is subjective for every individual, but what Kyoto Animation did was perfect a working formula. It made Moe more targeted, more marketable. It was a tangible thing that other companies could try to replicate. You had the more rounded, cuter art style, a bunch of character archetypes, an almost all-female cast, little to no romance scenarios you could put them in, and a fresh new audience that found out this was a thing they wanted and would invest deeply in. You could even say this started a Moe arms race, and one genre to benefit the most from this time period was, of course, idol shows. Now, idol shows actually go back a pretty long way in anime, but I don't think it's any surprise that the surge in popular idol shows came in a time of the Moe boom that
makes sense.
started. As you can see how a successful formula have influenced the idol genre. I mean, what other kind of shows would be able to thrive in an environment where the audience wanted a core of pure, innocent character archetypes being brought together, where we as an audience member can watch them bond and grow together? Idolmaster, Love Live, these now mega popular franchises rose up in a post-K-On! Era following the groundwork that it had laid. Was it cute? Yes. Was it marketable? Fuck yes.
Yeah, of course it is.
Was there deep fan base investment? Are you fucking kidding me? Idol shows are still going strong.
That's awesome.
Firmly established themselves in their own genre, but while Moe has definitely had a strong influence there, it also blew up in other places. But not everything has shared this same longevity. During the height of the Moe boom, everyone wanted to find the next cute girls doing cute things mega hit, and while K-On! Had a deeper soul behind it that audiences latched onto, the same cannot be said for others that tried jumping on this bandwagon. The term Moe blob was coined on the simple criticisms of characters in these vanilla shows feeling samey and pandering. A Moe blob is just there as a character that's meant to be Moe for the audience, and sometimes ends up feeling
so it's
lazy,
just
obvious,
thrown
and
in for it.
Flat.
For
The core concept of shows trying to pander to Moe tropes exclusively quickly annoyed audiences because they were more than sick of seeing it. So now, much like with idol shows, the industry had to find creative and unique ways to make these shows feel fresh and interesting. You can't just have cute girls doing cute things anymore, you see. You've got to have cute girls doing other things, so long as they're doing it cutely.
Yeah.
So we've got fine examples like cute girls doing airsoft, cute girls doing game design, cute girls doing motorbike racing, cute girls doing
tanks, yeah.
Curry. Wait, that's not a fucking word, you idiot! Cute girls doing amazing things that we'll never be able to achieve in our lifetime because we're stuck here watching some video documenting the history of cute anime girls.
Wait.
And that's just the natural evolution Moe had to take. Purely Moe blob shows are becoming a less common thing in this day and age, but in its place you have these shows taking Moe elements, but adding an extra hook to appeal to audiences with specific interests. And that brings us to the latest form of Moe shows in modern anime. Let's say you wanted to make a Moe show with a hook for people who are interested in ships.
Right.
Well, what if we make the girls pilot the ships? No! The girls are the ships.
Oh my god.
Fucking genius! Anthropomorphism is the current big trend besides idols in Moe anime. The immense success of the Kantai Collection mobile game could be easily seen as partly responsible for this. So whether they're boats, guns, horses, or fucking household appliances, these are the levels Moe shows need to go to these days for people to pay attention to them. But here's the thing, even though we can point to the evolution of Moe shows specifically in idols, slice of life, or anthropomorphism, the effects of it can be seen in the much wider anime landscape. In recent years, we've become so accustomed to seeing it that it's just become a normal part of anime now. And to me, that is the final evolution of what Moe has become in this modern era.
The Moe future.
Ever since K-On! And its predecessors, in some way or another, Moe has crept into the modern anime landscape in a way unlike any other trends that came before it. In the Mecha video, we talked about how its evolution directly influenced decades of a genre and eventually died down. Moe hasn't done that. Moe hasn't separated itself into an exclusive Moe genre. It's done quite the opposite. Instead, it has spread throughout the entire medium as we know it and become synonymous with anime itself. And what I find so interesting is that this change in landscape happened within my lifespan of my anime fandom. It's not something I read about or heard people talk about in the past.
Seen it.
I saw it happen.
Yeah.
A lot of us saw it happen. Moe feels like it's always been there. Sure, there was a time when we became more aware of it, and many believe that it's a trend that's come and gone, but it hasn't gone anywhere. It's just
still
slipped
there.
between the cracks and taken over a huge part of the identity of what anime is today.
Yeah.
The influence of Moe is in almost every genre of modern anime. Anime characters have learned how to be much more direct in targeting that specific Moe feeling, even if the characters themselves aren't designed to be Moe. Everyone has a cute quirk. Every girl needs a unique selling point, even if it's just something completely surface level. We're in a time when female characters that trend aren't necessarily the deepest or most fleshed out. They're the ones with the most unique gimmick, the ones whose designs more stand out. For you see, because the concept of Moe can be applied to any show, it now almost does apply to every show. Whether directly and obvious or simply there in the background are some characters who act in a way we just expect characters to act now, Moe is the norm even if you're not specifically a fan of Moe shows. Some of you may think I'm over-dramatizing the impact of these cute anime girls, but the thing is, these aren't just cute anime girls. They're brands. They're marketable products that can be commoditized and sold, and we proudly buy into it. It's $1 million franchise. It's a fashionable art style. It's something for us to argue over who is cuter, who is better, who is best. They have become as much of a symbol for our medium as giant robots and muscly action heroes were in the past, and continue to be an integral part of the culture that we love. That's what I mean when I say it was a revolution, because it was a successful one. Moe may have always existed in one form or another, but now it is at the forefront, stamping down its mark on the medium without going anywhere anytime soon. It was a Moe uprising. It was a Moe takeover. It was a Moe revolution. So, quick announcement. It felt good going through my old videos in the process of making this Moe video and just seeing my older shitty videos. And we got the idea to make a motherfucking tea mug based on my original K-On! Video for the 3 people that actually remember it. So yeah, if you want to grab this, what I think is probably like my first OG meme I ever made.
That's cool.
Back, like, Jesus, 7 years ago, then I'll put a link in the description. It's going to be a limited time thing because I don't think many people are going to remember it. It'll be up for like 2 weeks till the 4th of August, so get one while you can.
Man.
I'm not going to leave it up for long. I don't think many people even know.
Hey, looking at my list, that's the day this comes out. My reaction to this.
Right now, just don't tell anyone. But with that said, thank you very much to Robert Harnborg, Basil, Patrick Manson,
That's so
Vincent
random.
Mooney, Lauken, and everyone else on Patreon for helping
Go buy some
this month and making
motherfucking
this
tea mugs
video
from
possible.
Gigguk.
It's videos like these that
Because
require
apparently
time,
today's the
research,
last day of me
so I would not be
that
able
this
to
is
do
up.
projects like
Not
these
when I'm
without
recording
your
this.
support on them. Especially if these don't do as well, but I always love working on them. Not sure what my next big genre
Oh man, it was a good video.
yet, but I'm going to be excited to work on it. Anyway, that's it from me. If you want the limited time mug, go click on the link in the description. But otherwise, I've been Gigguk, and I will see you all next time.
See you, man. Oh, that was cool. Nice little discussion piece on the anime. Oh, Gigguk's great. Like, it's funny, but he's informative. It's always a good look into certain things and whatnot that you wouldn't normally think of. It's yeah, I like that. And he's a cool dude. I like Gigguk, and I'll never forget that he actually gave me the time of day in London to talk about ideas I have for the future and that, and offering to help out as well with stuff. But yeah, so thank you guys very much for watching. What did you guys think of that? What did you guys think of this? Click like, subscribe if you haven't already. Leave comments down below. Let me know what I should watch and discuss in future videos. And I'll see you guys, yes, all of you guys, next time.